Hello, Jake Middleton here again. This is part 2 of So You Want to Write a Macro. Last time we recorded a macro that created this cylinder named My First Macro, and it created this code here. Now we're going to talk about how to edit the code a little bit and comment it first. So first, the comment is next to the quotation key, or rather it is the quotation key, and it turns anything you type in green. Now this, you can write anything you want and it's fully ignored by the code. So in other words, this is a really good way to go and sort of type in some description, some information about what's going on. So if you go and you edit the macro again in a couple of months, you actually understand what you are writing. So I always like to go here and sort of piece it out into chunks of code using comments. Just kind of breaks it up, almost like chapters in a book. So we can go ahead and save that and minimize it. So we can of course always go and run our macro as we showed in the first part by selecting the play button and choosing the .swp file. But what we really want is we want a button right up here with all of the other buttons in SOLIDWORKS that when we click it, our macro runs. All you have to do is right click up in the toolbar and go to Customize. Now simply select Commands and go to Macro. You'll see all of the usual buttons in macro except for the very last one, called New Macro Button. This one you can simply drag and drop anywhere in the toolbar. It can be a small button or a large button. When you drag and drop it, it'll simply ask you which macro did you want to attach to the button. Now we'll go and we'll choose our My First Macro, and it'll attach it. You can even choose an icon if you want to start using Paint to make a little icon. And you can give the button a name. So let's give this a short name, and we'll use the default icon for now. You can always experiment with that later. We click OK, and we see it actually creates a brand new button right in the SOLIDWORKS interface. So this is pretty cool, and now we don't even need this macro toolbar anymore to run our macro. Anytime we're in SOLIDWORKS, we can simply go up and click on this button, and it will run our macro automatically. It's pretty neat. So the other thing to note in macros is that, as I mentioned, it does create an external file, a .swp file. This file here you can actually copy and just send to somebody else. You can email it to them or put it on a network drive as an external file, and anybody who has access to that file can run your macro. This has been the 2-part series on So You Want to Write a Macro. I'm Jake Middleton.